your education a story, they gotta believe it. And a lot of words that come out them folks' mouth, it sound like it's the greatest thing that came out the skies, but it ain't never recycled game, man. Motherfucker told me a long time ago, man, motherfuckers in the streets, because that's why they call it street smarts and book smarts. A motherfucker in the streets can get more motherfuckers in the corporate world to give them money by trickery than a motherfucker in the corporate world can get a motherfucker in the streets by trickery. Real shit. You know what I mean? Your mama. That's somebody's mama. Somebody that's fucking their mama on here talking about it. Oh, you mad because I fucked your mama? You mad? See, they hate when you spit knowledge. And see, most of the people that come on my page and be trying to talk their shit because they scared I'm spreading that knowledge. They scared that I got that traction on this internet, man. I'm putting up millions of views, man. They scared because when an individual expose them people and it gives you a thought that every time you hear somebody say something that you think is smart, Google that shit, man. How you doing, Miss Peaches? Oh man, you know they be having my pages in the motherfucking Gypsy Twist. Every page I like, and see, mostly I'm going live on YouTube now because YouTube pay more, and then I go live on Instagram because my Instagram popping now. You know what I mean? So, because TikTok, y'all know TikTok ain't for grown folks, man. They'll let a bitch come on TikTok and shake her ass and let a zesty motherfucker come on there and shake his ass. But then I come on there and talk about them motherfuckers. They tell me I'm bullying a motherfucker. I think that motherfucker bullying me by shaking his ass in front of the TV screen and popping up on my motherfucking FYP page. You know what I mean? Oh, I know you do, man. When I see your name pop up and I see that picture, I know it's you. I fucks with you. Cause I tell you this, man. When you come from a certain part of life and you hear a motherfucker talking about the life that you lived, you be like, man, damn. You know what I mean? I'll tell you this, like today, I'm gonna tell you this, man. I smoked some weed today and I was driving, man. Bullshit and I was driving, I was listening to some motherfucking, some Too Short. And man, I swear to God, I felt like I was back in the 90s riding around in that motherfucking Bonneville. And I literally looked over and I got my security with me. I looked over at the car that was driving beside me and I was driving. And I looked over to the side of me and I said, damn, them cars look funny. Because in my mind, I was back in the 90s because I was banging that music and that weed actually did it, man. Come on, man. You know what I mean? That weed had me, goddamn it, drifting down memory lane, man. You know, every once in a while, motherfucker take a drink or take a smoke or something, and then you go down memory lane and you start thinking about shit. You feel me? You know it. That's one thing about life. Some things bring back memories and make you think about things you never thought about. Some things you thought was dreams, but they really was reality, man. You feel me? That's the truth. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things in life that when you go through certain parts, it makes you remember. Because a lot of times, people push pains and things that happen to them in their life down into what you would call an emotional vault. And when people put a lot of things that happen to you as a child and happen to you in life, you want to forget that shit, especially if it was painful, man. And people forget that type of shit until they become adults. And they start going through all type of situations and wondering why they're having panic attacks and wondering why that they're going through the emotional situation they're going through. And the reasons why is because they ain't dealt with their childhood traumas. That's why I tell people all the time, man, it's never bad to go speak to a therapist. Because when you be able to sit down and talk to an individual and open up to an individual that ain't going to be able to judge you, but might be able to give you some advice in life that's biased, Because when we go to friends and family members and ask them for advice about situations, sometimes them folks toxic. A lot of times when motherfuckers asking unhappy individuals that ain't married about married couples, them folk put toxic ass shit into the situation because they unhappy about their life. A lot of people shouldn't be giving advice to other people because their life ain't even right, man. I ain't never understood how a motherfucker could tell you how to raise a child when they didn't even raise their own child. Their child was raised by their grandmama. I was in motherfucking foster care all their life, but you want to tell about how you raised the last two, but what about the other 3, 4 you gave up for adoption? I'm just saying. There's a lot of motherfuckers in the world that try to take credit for a lot of things that they not able to take credit for, and a lot of them things is the children, man. You know, that's what you do. A lot of motherfuckers want to take credit for their children when they become athletes and famous rappers, but they don't want to take credit for when their children out there get put on the news for carjacking and robbing folks. You don't catch too many motherfuckers out there talking about, oh, there go my boy, he on the news. You don't hear them folks saying that. You don't hear them folks out there bragging about their sons and daughters going to the penitentiary for life sentences. You don't hear them saying that. They be trying to tell motherfuckers, oh, it ain't my son. That ain't my son. Motherfuckers want to take credit for bullshit, but they don't want to take credit when they didn't do their job as a parent, man. There's a lot of motherfuckers out here that know that they ain't doing nothing what you would call parenting. There's a lot of motherfucking kids out here that's raising their motherfucking mama and daddy. There's some motherfucking children out here putting their mama and daddy to sleep because their mama and daddy twacked out on that fentanyl, drunk on that bottle. Because there's a lot of things that I see on the line right now, man. I see that there's a lot of unhappy young females because them young motherfuckers don't do them a drink liquor all day long online, man. Them young motherfuckers don't do nothing but drink liquor all day long. And I'm wondering how the fuck is them bitches functioning, man. I tell a motherfucker, man, you put all that alcohol in your body when you're young, your motherfucking kidney's gonna show you when you get older, man. You know what I mean? Anytime that you sit back and you watch, it ain't like you gotta be stalking no motherfucker. You could just be going through your motherfucking Instagram and you don't see nothing but young motherfucking females on there half naked drinking motherfucking liquor all day long. Oh, I got me a bottle of Patron. I'm turning up, today is the day. Then you get some of them on that motherfucker that be crying about they dude and drinking Patron all motherfucking day long. And it's like, damn, is these folks gonna get up and go to work? And then some of these folks be what you would call functional drunks, man. Functional. There's more young motherfuckers out here that's functional drunks and them motherfuckers is females. I don't know what these young females got going on. I don't know what somebody did to a lot of these motherfuckers, but them young motherfuckers are some alcoholics, man. Some pure alcoholics. You know what I mean? I'm a motherfucking father, man. I got 2 daughters and 2 sons, and most of them motherfuckers grown, man. My daughters ain't sitting around drinking online in their panties, shaking their ass, man. Because I taught them better. My daughters ain't going to do nothing to bring shame to me, man. Because they was raised the same with the same mentality that my grandma raised me. Anything that you do in the world reflects on me. And my grandmama was a woman that went to church every time the church door opened and went door to door because we were Jehovah's Witnesses, man. So I tell a motherfucker quick, man, your children are a reflection of you. So if your children are out here running in stores and running out with clothes, it's because your sister or you took your daughter up in the store and showed them folks how to take them motherfucking security tags off them clothes and run out that motherfucker, man. There's a lot of females that start family businesses, and I'm talking about boosting and stealing, man. There's a lot of motherfuckers in this world that teach children a lot of fucked up habits, man. Fucked up habits. You know what I mean? You teach a young motherfucker, and because see, a lot of motherfuckers don't understand that if a female sit around and watch her mama fuck multiple people over and over, and then she find out that her mama trading that motherfucking pussy for money, then eventually she gonna think the same thing, man. And a lot of these young motherfucking females, they mamas and daddies already telling them you need to sell that pussy if you want to live your life the best way you can. Which is a fucked up thing to tell your child, man. But you got a lot of these fucked up sick ass mamas that find out these drug dealers and these motherfuckers with money don't want no old thought, but they want a young motherfucker, and them bitches sick they daughters on them grown ass men, man. And them grown ass sick ass motherfuckers that should be put in the bag start fucking with them kids and they mamas already know it, man. These motherfuckers in the world are so fucked up that that's why I say that a lot of motherfucking mamas and daddies need to be charged with their parents, man. If a motherfucker get caught with statutory rape and he can prove that the mama and daddy knew, then all the motherfuckers need to go to jail, even that motherfucker too, man. They need to take the mama to jail for statutory rape and the daddy to jail, and any motherfucker that knew that motherfucker was fucking that child, man. For real. If you are a motherfucking school teacher and you see a grown ass motherfucker coming to check a child out and it ain't her mama or her daddy, then you need to ask a question of where the fuck you think you going, man. Where the fuck you think you going with that grown ass man? It's a lot of sick motherfuckers out here, man. Motherfuckers act like that it's just celebrities that's out here fucking with these kids when motherfuckers in the projects been fucking with them kids since motherfucking projects was built, man. The projects ain't nothing but a breeding ground for a whole bunch of what you would call black old pedophiles, drug dealers. Them old motherfuckers that know that them young motherfuckers ain't gonna tell because they want some money, because they living in the project and their mama out there ain't doing nothing for them, and them young motherfuckers don't figure out that them old motherfuckers will pay for that cock, man. They'll pay for it. It's a sad motherfucking world, man. It's a sad world. It's a sad world that we live in where motherfuckers don't understand that children are not fair game, man. Any motherfucker that look at a child and think that a child is sexy, that's a sick motherfucker, man. Any motherfucker that would tell you, let's get a motherfucker drunk so we can all have fun with that motherfucker, then you know that motherfucker's a rapist, man. Any motherfucker that get on the news or get caught up in a sexual situation where a motherfucker said they raped him, then that motherfucker put himself in a fucked up situation. Because there's a lot of motherfucking games that get played out there in this world with a lot of motherfuckers, but it's a lot of motherfuckers that put themselves in the situation to get tricked, man. There's a lot of motherfuckers in the world that's waking up with a scheme in their mind and the first thing they looking for is a nigga with money, man. Nigga with money. A dumb nigga with money. If a motherfucker, a female, can find a dumb nigga and an ugly nigga with money, she got a winner in her mind. Because she know one thing for sure, she can trick that motherfucker and she can do what she want to because she's a bad bitch and she know that that nigga know he fucking out his motherfucking range, man. But a lot of motherfuckers get out in these streets and they be out there hustling just to keep a lifestyle up or keep a bitch happy because they know that bitch ain't gonna be their bitch unless they got some money in their pocket, man. There's a lot of fat, ugly motherfuckers and skinny, ugly motherfuckers in this world that's walking around with a bad bitch and they know if they go broke, that bitch gonna break bad, man. They know that bitch gonna break bad. There's a lot of motherfuckers that cry, whine, and rob and run off on the plug just so they can keep that bitch around a little bit longer, man. There's motherfuckers that will go out in this world and shoot at another man because another man been fucking his bitch and it was all consensual. There's a lot of tender dick ass motherfuckers out here that don't understand that it's more motherfucking woman than for one for each man. Motherfucker don't understand that shit, man. For every motherfucker that leave one motherfucker, it's another motherfucker that'll come and love you even more, motherfucker. For every motherfucker that won't wash dishes, it's another motherfucker that will wash dishes. For every motherfucker that's tired of putting 100% in a situation, it's a motherfucker that's willing to go 50-50 and build that bag up so y'all can have a better future by it. It is. It's some motherfucking men and women that's out there to help each other and not take from the table and gonna bring something to the table, man. I ain't gonna never in my life let no individual come to the table with nothing and walk away with something that I built on my own, man. I tell a motherfucker real quick, I used to be married. I've been down that road and thought I was building something for the future for all of us. But then I realized that you cannot control another person's emotions or another person's feelings. And sometimes when a motherfucker wake up and roll over and tell you it's over, you just got to say, okay, I'm cool with that. But a lot of motherfuckers don't understand that sometimes when things happen in life, it's a good motherfucking reason, man. Sometimes motherfuckers be holding you back from your potential of being more than you should be in life because you sitting there trying to please that individual and you spending your money and your energy and your time on a motherfucking dead end situation, man. Sometimes you gotta wake up and realize that some motherfuckers don't want what you want out of life. Some motherfuckers is cool with being in fucked up situation and living from paycheck to paycheck. Some folk don't want to build that bag and work hard in a relationship to where you build that bag up to when you get to a certain age, you don't have to worry about going out breaking your back trying to make no money because you built that bag where you can retire and do what the fuck you want to do, man. People don't understand that motherfuckers have became millionaires one by one over 30, 40 years working a motherfucking job. And when they get 50, 60 years old, them folk can live the motherfucking best life that you ever lived in your life. A lot of motherfuckers don't understand that some people are your dead weight and you gotta let that shit go, man. Some people in your life is not meant to be in your life forever. I'm talking about friends, family members, moms, dads, kids. Sometimes you gotta get to the point where you realize that if that person is not trying to help you elevate, then you need to move away from that person, man. Sometimes if you can't give an individual advice where they can try to do better in life and they look at you and they not taking heed, then you know that motherfucker ain't the one you need to be around, man. I lost a lot of people that I call my friends because I got out the streets. I think, and this is just my theory, I think that the reason why my wife didn't want to be married to me no more is because I changed who I was. I was a street motherfucker. I was a hood motherfucker that went out 24/7, 7 days a week, and I hustled, and she barely seen me, man. But then she complained about seeing me because I was grinding so much in the streets, and then I came home and I sit down and I start this content shit where I was in my house and I built me a motherfucking studio in the back of my house, and I was around her so much that she said that she would feel like she was being smothered. And I was around her so much that she said that she would feel like she was being smothered. You are who you supposed to be in life. And then any other person, your children, you come off them folks, man. You back up off of them. Because one thing about life is if you don't change your mindset before it's too late, you gonna end up a nothing ass motherfucker working until one day them folks tell them folks you ain't coming in to work no more. You realize that taking a trip, saving up money to take a trip for a weekend is more important than saving up money to take care of your life at the end of your life, man. There's a lot of people that don't even got life insurance that's running around in this world doing all type of crazy shit because they feel like that somebody gonna bury them regardless, man. There's a lot of people out here that work their whole life and then they end up spending their motherfucking pensions and savings trying to keep their kids out of prison and jails because their kids using drugs and robbing and stealing. And them folks fuck their whole life, they pension, they 401k, they cash it all out for lawyers and bonds to get their kids out of jail. And then they be 60 years old, should be retired, working at McDonald's, talking about, do you want fries with that burger? I ain't gonna never ever let now individual be the reason that I'm somewhere in a motherfucking nursing home ran by the state, man. And some motherfucker push me in the middle of the hall, let me drool all day, and then take me in there and might wipe my ass, man. I'm not gonna do that, man. I'm going to build my bag for me and make sure that I keep life insurance on me so I don't be no burden on that motherfucker. I leave people with something besides memories and thoughts of me. I'm going to leave a motherfucker with some land and whatever they do with it's on them, man. You know what I mean? Ain't now one of my children going to ever have to say we doing a GoFundMe for me because I'm going to make sure that I put up safeguards to make sure that I be buried regardless of whoever or however I go by. You know what I mean? That's just life. I tell people all the time, man, you can't go through life and think one thing is supposed to be this way. Because I think about all the people in life that save up money to take trips. I'm not saying that you don't deserve to take that trip. And if you got the same will to take $100 out your paycheck to save up on what you would call a girl's trip, a guy's trip, then just think about the money that you could save up in 10 years, in 20 years, and in 30 years, and in 40 years, and the money that you could have that you could live the rest of your fucking life a productive person, man. A lot of people don't understand that the worst feeling in the world is when you sit back and you see a family member or a friend that you look at and you say, man, that motherfucker didn't make the right decisions. You see that motherfucker walking up the street and that motherfucker homeless or that motherfucker look like they ain't washed their ass in days, then you wonder what the fuck went wrong because you know you and that person came from the same situations. And some of y'all made the same motherfucking mistakes, but why the fuck is that motherfucker living the life he living, man? You think that, man. There's a lot of things that go through an individual mind when you look at people that you know and you wonder why they end up in the situation they in. But then I tell a lot of people sometimes, because I ask people questions a lot. Like I don't ask a woman one day, I pulled up to a McDonald's one day and it was a woman, she was in the drive-thru, she looked like she was in her 60s or 70s or something. And I asked her, I said, why are you still working at a fast food restaurant with all them kids in there? And she told me point blank period that her daughter was out there on that meth and she had to take responsibility for 4 grandchildren because her daughter was in fucking rehab and she didn't want her grandkids to go into state custody and she was retired and she had to come back out of retirement and work at McDonald's just so she could, you know, pay for the kids' school clothes because her pension paid for the lights and the water. But she worked at McDonald's on third shift because her grandbabies needed school clothes. And I respected that woman, but I was thinking to myself, because I got a grandbaby. And I love my grandbaby to death, and it ain't nothing in the world I wouldn't do for my grandbaby. You feel me? But at a certain point, you got to realize that I tell my children all the time, if you can't afford to have a child, then you shouldn't be out there fucking. They sell rubbers in the store for $4.50 a box, man. If you ain't got the money, ask me. If you gonna call me and tell me to cash app you something, tell me to cash app you some money so you can buy you a box of rubbers so you won't make a child that I gotta take care of because you ain't responsible to take care of that child. When a motherfucker asks me for some money, tell me to cash up you some money for a rubber so you won't make that mistake and bring something in this world that you know you can't. A motherfucker tell you to cash up you some money so they can buy some pussy. They'll tell you to cash up you some money so they can get a hotel room. But you don't catch too many motherfuckers talking about cash up me some money so I can go get a rubber. I had a motherfucker tell me cash up him some money so he can get a bottle one night. I asked that motherfucker, I said, man, did you buy you some rubbers before you bought that bottle? That motherfucker said, man, I don't get down like that, man. I wanted to feel it. And I'm thinking to myself this right here, man. There's a lot of motherfuckers in this world that holler out they want to feel it. But you don't want to feel that motherfucking disease that might come behind that motherfucking burning sensation. You don't want to feel it until you find out that bad bitch been traveling around the world selling pussy and somebody gave her that pack while she was on her world tour and she dropped that motherfucker off on you, man. There's a lot of motherfuckers that get caught up in them situations where you be full of that alcohol and get horny and you ain't thinking clearly about the decisions you're making. That motherfucking liquor make a motherfucker fuck a hole in a tree and wake up the next morning while he got sticks and bruises all on his dick, not knowing he been out there fucking a hole in a tree, man. Motherfucker don't understand that when you get full of that liquor, the first thing that a motherfucker looking for is something to put that dick in, man. For real. I know when I get full of that alcohol, man, the first thing I'm thinking about is something warm and soft and something that smell good. And I tell you something else that I find very fucked up. That I got to tell a lot of young females, but the older females, you don't got to tell them this shit, man. If you pull up on a motherfucker and you know y'all about to fuck, the first thing that you do in front of each other is y'all get in the shower and show me you wash that pussy and show me you wash that dick, man. Because there's some nasty motherfuckers that's running around out here that's fucking one motherfucker and then go fuck another motherfucker. And then I seen a female one day say some horrible shit to a nigga, and that nigga looked like he was sad, but it was true. I seen a nigga, him and his female got to argue one day, and the bitch told him, nigga, why you talking that shit? When I came and sit on your face the other day, I let your homeboy come in me before you did. So your homeboy cummed all in your face at the same time I was coming. That nigga was like a raging bull. He hit about 2-3 times. We had to wrestle that nigga down. We had to wrestle that nigga down to the ground, man. We had to wrestle that nigga down, but you gotta realize that there's a lot of motherfuckers out here that play get back games and they be like, you think you the only motherfucker out here fucking these bitches? I'm gonna go fuck this nigga and I'm gonna come home just like you. Instead of me jumping in that shower and wash this pussy, I'm gonna make you eat this other nigga cum about this pussy since you think you the motherfucker winning motherfucker. Motherfuckers don't think that there's some motherfuckers out there playing some real hardcore treacherous games when you think you the only motherfucker out here cheating and shit, man. It's a horrible feeling when a motherfucker knock on your door and tell you they seen Joe Ho out there with John Blow and Ho in a motherfucking situation getting bent over, man. It's a lot of motherfuckers don't understand that, man. When I heard her say that out of her mouth, it was nothing else that another person could tell me. Another motherfucking thing that a person, every time, man, it made me go home and look at my motherfucking wife and say, I ain't eating your pussy no more, man. I'm out here fucking enough hoes that karma might make you do what that bitch said that she did to that nigga. Let another nigga come at you and you try to put it in my face, bitch, I'm gonna kill you. So, ain't no motherfucker gotta worry about me eating no pussy never again in life after she said that. When she said that and that was her husband and she told her husband that why he thought he was running around shaking that dick in the world, giving that community dick away, that she been out there giving that pussy away to his homeboy, and she let that nigga homeboy come all up in that pussy, and then when he came home drunk, she set that big pussy on that nigga face and rolled that nigga face, and she said she made sure that her cum pushed that other nigga cum all in that nigga face. I said, boy, good Lord, good Lord. I said, boy, God help this nigga and God give us the strength to keep this nigga from killing this bitch out here. But then it ain't no different than I know some nasty ass niggas that go around and might fuck a female and then go put a dick in another female mouth just so he can say, bitch, you suck the other bitch pussy. There's some nasty motherfuckers in this world. That's why I say, man, if you pull up on me and we got any kind of transaction going on where we finna do some fucking, bitch, you finna wash your face, your mouth. Bitch, I got you a toothbrush, you finna gargle. We ain't doing no kissing, but I don't want you to put your mouth on my dick out there been on some other nigga dick. I want to make sure you get all that gingivitis off out your mouth. You know what I mean? Because folks out here playing some dangerous games, man. And there's a lot of motherfuckers that think just because you let a motherfucker suck your dick, you can't get something. They think that just because you gay and you're female that you can't catch nothing by sucking another motherfucking bitch pussy. You's a lie. It's diseases to be transferred by fluids. It don't matter if the fluid's squirting out that pussy or squirting out that dick, you can catch it. And there's a lot of motherfucking down low niggas out here fucking niggas. And there's a lot of studs out here getting fucked by niggas that's fucking niggas. So you never know who you fucking. They used to say back in the day, you are who you fucking. They used to say for every motherfucker you fucking, you fucked every other motherfucker that somebody else fucked. So if you knowing and willing and fucking a motherfucker that you know fucking a lot of motherfuckers, then you might well go out there and start fucking everybody in the neighborhood. Especially if you letting that motherfucker go raw in that pussy. You know what I mean? You gotta question the motherfucker when they talking about they want to fill that pussy and take that rub off. Motherfuckers in their 40s, anything over 40 ain't trying to take that rub off on no random motherfucker, man. Because they know one thing for sure, they don't want no children, they don't want something that AJ can't get off, man. They know that. When a motherfucker over 40, they don't see some motherfucker that they know that died from AIDS or somebody that caught a disease that they can't get rid of, like herpes and shit like that. When you see motherfuckers in life deteriorate, friends and families from diseases that they got from just humping and pumping one night with a motherfucker, that make you keep your dick in your pants, man. I don't turn down plenty of pussy because I didn't like the way that bitch looked. I didn't like the way that pussy smelled. I didn't like that bitch was trying to give me that pussy too quick, so I didn't want it, man. I tell a motherfucker quick, man, all money ain't good and all pussy ain't good to be trying, man. You know what I mean? You got to think sometimes, man, when a motherfucker trying to give you something so, trying to give it to you too easy, then you got to realize that they gave it to somebody else easier than they gave it to you, man. And there's a lot of these motherfuckers out here, man, you got to fight some of these females off from getting, I'm talking about it's crazy that a motherfucker, a lot of these young females, they see an old nigga and they just go crazy. They see an old nigga and they think, well, that old nigga gonna save me. That old nigga gonna beat this pussy up. That old nigga, only thing I gotta do is put this big wet tight pussy on that old nigga that probably been fucking them women that got 2-3 kids and that pussy ain't tight like his. But they just don't realize, man, pussy ain't everything, man. Pussy ain't everything. When you realize that you can't go to the store and put that pussy on that counter, then you don't go spend your money on that pussy. Motherfuckers realize that when you sitting, that's just like being at a slot machine at a motherfucking casino. When you're on your way to the casino with your money, you happen to motherfucker thinking you gonna win. Thinking you gonna win. And then when you leave that casino and you don't got that rush and you didn't win no money, you sad and the motherfucker, you crying and trying to figure out how you gonna make that money up that you lost to the casino. So the same philosophy goes when you sitting around and you fucking with a female and you get that bitch $200-300 knowing that your cotton note coming up, knowing that your motherfucking rent coming up, knowing that your lights coming up, But you went out and gave a bitch $200 for some pussy and you overdraft your account just so a bitch can give you a thrill for the night. You know how many motherfuckers been sitting there that'll pay a motherfucker for some pussy and when they get done they realize one thing, that pussy wasn't worth that money, man. $200 wasn't worth that pussy because that pussy was just like you thought it was going to be. It was a hole. It was wet. It smelled good. Because most motherfuckers ain't fucking the pussy. They fucking the motherfucker that's got the pussy. Most motherfuckers looking at a motherfucker face while they fucking them because they trying to use that as a fantasy and thinking about, I'm fucking a bad bitch, man. You know what I mean? And I tell you the worst thing in the world is when you bend the motherfucker over and you fucking that bitch from the back and you see another nigga's name across that bitch back talking about this is Tony's pussy. How is this Tony pussy and I'm up in this pussy? Where's Tony at? Tony ain't around no more? You know what I mean? I had a female one day, she had another nigga name right beside that pussy. I said, why you got that nigga name beside your pussy knowing that pussy don't belong to that nigga, man? Why you got that nigga name beside that pussy? And then a lot of motherfuckers be like, oh, I like to pound a bitch with a name on her back. And let me, I grab her by the hair and be like, yeah, bitch. Yeah, I'm all up in Tony's pussy. I'm getting Tony's pussy tonight. Tony pussy is getting it. You know what I mean? And then some females get turned on by that. They'll tell a motherfucker, you like that nigga name on my back, don't you? That make you feel good, but then they just don't know. That make a nigga feel kind of disgusting, man. That make a nigga be like, well, at one point in time, you was so in love with a nigga that you put a nigga name across your back, and then eventually another nigga coming on that nigga name. That's why I wouldn't want a bitch to put my name on their back, because eventually some nigga might come on that nigga name. Some nigga, you know, a dirty motherfucker pull that dick out and just come all on that other nigga name. You feel me? Yeah, that's Tony pussy. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers don't understand, man. There be some motherfuckers that go to prison and them niggas be in prison for 10 years and that bitch been out here fucking 1,000 motherfuckers on made 2-3 babies and that nigga come out the penitentiary and take possession of that pussy. That nigga pop up at that bitch job with some flowers from Kroger's and tell that bitch I'm gonna be a better man this time. And then that's Tony pussy again. You know what I mean? That's Tony pussy. And then when a motherfucker, I tell you the craziest thing that I see more, I know a motherfucker that went back to prison because he got out of prison and see the thing about it is you fucking with a gal and she living in an apartment complex, then it's one thing for sure that you need to make sure you do. You need to move about that apartment complex that you living in with that bitch because guess what? Some nigga in that apartment complex gonna fuck that bitch before, man. You know what I mean? If you move in a neighborhood or in a house with a female that was living there before you, some nigga gonna fuck that bitch in that bed that you finna lay in, man. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. If you move into a house with a female, you gonna be laying in some other old nigga's nuts thing. You laying in a bed where eventually somebody, yeah, they changed the sheets on that motherfucker, but they didn't change the mattress. They flipped the mattress over, and now it's your turn to pound that pussy on that bed and tell that bitch she's yours, man. Real shit. I'm telling you, man. I tell motherfuckers all the time, man, you can never take possession of another human being's body. If I'm fucking that pussy and she tell me that pussy mine, I look at her and tell her, bitch, don't tell me no lies. Don't tell me no lies talking about this my pussy when I know that another motherfucker might come in the door right behind me and he might have you screaming and you tell that nigga that's your pussy. Don't no dick or no pussy belong to no individual that it ain't attached to, man. Don't never think that your pussy is so good that a motherfucker won't replace your ass, man. Don't never ever think that your dick and your head so fine that bitch won't wake up one day and say, nigga, you got to go because you ain't contributing to the bills no more, man. It's some niggas out here that think they they dick so good that they can sit around and play on the video games all day while a motherfucker go bust that clock, man. There's some motherfucker that pop up in them situations and take your bitch because they willing to put down their good dick and they got a job. A nigga with good dick and a job will take a broke nigga bitch any motherfucking time of the day, man. A broke nigga don't stand a chance with a nigga with a good dick and a job. A nigga with a 401k and some good dick gonna take a bitch away from any motherfucker they know, man. You know what I mean? You better keep that Roman count on you, man. I tell them, look, I look at them young niggas. That's why them young niggas be looking at me like I'm crazy when I pull up in that motherfucking $60,000, $70,000 car and them little young old be looking at me. And them young niggas be like, don't be looking at that nigga, you feel me? Because them young olds, they looking at a motherfucker and they looking like, damn, why my nigga ain't got money? Why my nigga ain't motivated to do more than just stand around a whole bunch of niggas with ski masks on? Why my nigga coming over here with a 3.5 and I got a smoker with him and his homeboys and ain't no telling which one of them niggas been sucking each other's dick and now you second hand sucking dick. That's why I don't smoke out the people, man. I don't smoke weed out the damn motherfucker. I roll mine up and now let them roll theirs up. I roll my weed up and I smoke mine. I don't smoke out to nobody. Because you never know who been sucking who dick, and I ain't just talking about no female. I ain't just talking about the female. There's some niggas out here on the down low that really ain't on the down low that's sucking their homeboy's dick because them niggas gay, man. A lot of motherfuckers out here, man. Why you think them niggas be so glad when the police catch them and take them back to jail? Them niggas walk in the cell like, oh, I'm back. Where my bitch at? Where my boy at? Man, them niggas walk straight in the pod and they go straight looking for their man. They do. Them young motherfuckers know that they fruited than a motherfucking box of Fruity Peppers and they just want to live their best life. And the only way they can do it is around a whole bunch of other motherfuckers that's gay in jail and putting tantrums, man. Because ain't no motherfucker, I tell motherfuckers all the time, I had a female that I was fucking with one time. And you know, when I be fucking with a female, sometimes I try to get on an emotional level with her before I start fucking them. Because I be want to know what kind of shit can you do to them and what the limits is. And, you know, I want to get an understanding, you know, have you and a nigga ever done this? And you ever done this with another nigga? And have you ever done this? You feel me? Because you see what type of bitch you fucking with when you talk to a bitch and a bitch tell you she gonna let you come on her face and piss on her and she like a nigga to shit on her and all that other type of shit. Then you get to thinking like, this bitch is just a little too nasty for me. She's just a little too nasty for me. You know what I mean? Because any time that you tell a motherfucker, man, I tell you this, man. And I had a female look at me one day and she said, you look at me different, don't you? I said, the thing that you done to me, I look at you different, man. I look at you different to the point where if I got a bottle of water and you drink out that bottle of water, I don't want that bottle of water no more. I look at you different because I seen the shit that you done to me and the shit that you let me do to you. And I know one thing, that some other niggas taught you how to do that shit, man. Some other nigga taught you that it was cool for a nigga to put it in your pussy and put it in your booty, then put it in your mouth. Somebody didn't tell you that you might catch a yeast infection at the mouth. And I tell a motherfucker quick, man, what type of man want to fuck a woman in the asshole when you got a perfectly good soft pussy? That's the first sign that you might be dealing with a homosexual, man. Anytime that a man will come home and he full of that oil and the first thing he want to slide up in is that asshole, you need to look at that nigga and say, hey, nigga. Where you been at? While you was at the gambling house or while you was around them niggas, did you get aroused? And just cause you go home and fuck the woman in the ass, wishing it was your homeboy, you think that shit don't make you gay? You know what I mean? For real. A female better realize one thing, man, these niggas out here is gay. A lot of these niggas gay. And there's one thing about them. They ain't afraid to show you. They ain't afraid to tell you. It's like the motherfucking men that say they want to be in a poly relationship where it's two men and a woman. I'm thinking to myself, eventually them motherfucking swords is crossing, and eventually somebody putting something in somebody's mouth that shouldn't be going in their mouth. Because anytime that if I'm in a poly relationship with two females, there's one thing about it. My dick gonna go in both holes, and my dick gonna go between two lips, and you can believe somebody gonna be licking on their clit while I'm putting their dick in that pussy, man. You can believe that. So you can believe that when them folks in that poly relationship and it's two motherfucking men, and one man putting their dick in that pussy, you can believe that female that's in control of that talking about lick that clit while that nigga fuck that pussy. That nigga really just sucking that bitch dick and sucking his dick and licking that bitch pussy at the same time, man. That's some gay ass shit, man. I don't give a fuck, man. I was around a whole bunch of niggas one day, and this nigga that I've been knowing all my life said some shit that made me not ever want to be around him no more, man. That nigga told another bitch, cause he seen the bitch wanted a nigga to fuck her. That nigga told the bitch, he said, that nigga can fuck you and then I'll suck that nigga cum at you. I said, that nigga a dick sucking gay ass motherfucker. How the fuck can a nigga tell a bitch at you? I said, that nigga a dick sucking gay ass motherfucker. How the fuck can a nigga tell a bitch? You, and then that nigga said, we do that shit at the swingers club all the time, man. I won't be going to no swingers club. I won't be going up in no swingers club because I don't understand how a motherfucker go up in a swingers club with your wife. You take your wife up in there around a whole bunch of strangers and motherfuckers start putting their dick in her mouth, rubbing her pussy, you know what I mean? Then you got your husband in there and motherfucker might, you know what I mean, got a mask on. It might be a motherfucking training. And a lot of them motherfuckers say, well, they got a mask on and they just sucking dick and that ain't, you know what I mean? A lot of motherfuckers be trying to get around them being just saying they gay. A lot of motherfuckers, they go to masquerade balls and dress ups and in fairy costumes and shit like that because they don't want to know that what they putting in that hole. That's why motherfuckers go to places and say glory holes. You go put your dick in a hole that you don't know what's behind that hole. Motherfucker could have an asshole and a pussy hole against that motherfucking wall, and it's some motherfuckers putting their dick in that motherfucker knowing that it's a 50-50 chance that it's a man. But in their mind, they hoping it's a man. But in their mind, they can say, well, I didn't know what it was, you feel me? When you're gay, man. Ain't no getting around that shit. And it be signs that women be talking about, well, I wouldn't have never thought he was gay. He got 3-4 baby mamas. Go talk to them baby mamas and see how many times he fucked them baby mamas in the ass, man. Go talk to them baby mamas and see how many times that they wanted to suck his dick, but he wanted to suck on their clit. Go ask them baby mamas that gay dude that y'all say gay that got all them kids. Go ask them how many times they put that scrap on and fucked him in the ass and didn't tell nobody, man. Cause there's some sick motherfuckers out here that got some toys in they motherfucking treasure chest and they meant for the men that they fuck with, not the women, man. It is. It is. Oh, I'm pretty sure he is. It's a motherfucker. Anytime you see a whole bunch of men that don't want to do nothing but spend their time around each other and them folks ain't in jail, them folks free and a motherfucker, and they spend 90% of their day around nothing but men, them niggas gay, man. If them niggas ain't incarcerated, that's why a lot of them niggas, when they go to jail, it don't fuck them up because they used to being around nothing but men all day long, every day, all day. I ain't gonna never want to be around another motherfucking nothing but men all fucking day long. I don't want to be around no another man all day long. I tell my son, man, get the fuck around. I tell my son, man, move around, man. Move around. Go find you a gal or something. Go do something. Go fuck a bitch. You know what I mean? Move. We don't need to be just hanging around all day, man. You know what I mean? And motherfucker don't understand until you see it, man. And a lot of times, people on the outside can see something that other people can't see in other people, man. You got people that say, I got a gaydar rater, man. Meaning they be like, oh, that motherfucker, there he is. That motherfucker gay. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, a motherfucker, I tell you this, a gay man can tell you when a gay motherfucker is gay and he trying to hide it, man. A gay female can tell you when a motherfucker that act like he tough, she can tell that motherfucker got a little switch to him. And a lot of men go to these gay clubs and go around these gay people and they got these stud sisters. They call them they sisters because they studs. Either they fucking the stud or they using the stud as a shield to go around gay men. For real. If you see a nigga that hang around a stud all day, every day, if he ain't fucking that stud, he fucking a nigga somewhere and that stud just his cover up. I'm telling you. A motherfucker tell you, I think they call them beards. They call them beards when the man use it's men out here that marry a bad female but got a man as they man. I mean, it's motherfuckers out here that got a house with a woman that in public they living with a wife, they even make kids with a woman, but they actually in a relationship with a man. And don't nobody find out about it until that man that's in a relationship with that man get mad because that motherfucking rapper or that entertainer or somebody that he felt like is getting more love than he's getting, he come out and say, that motherfucker gay. That's a front. He lying. He was over my house the other day, I had my dick in him. Yeah, he gay. Yeah. He over on the red, he over here on the yellow brick road. He on the rainbow coalition. All you bitches out there that's looking at him talking about he the baddest motherfucker, he don't want no pussy. He don't want no pussy, he wants some ding-a-ling. You know what I mean? And motherfuckers be acting like they shocked. How can you be shocked when you know nowadays it ain't a shock to see a motherfucker that's gay? It used to be every motherfucker that was gay was the people that was flamed up, the people that, you know what I mean? But now you got what they call gay thugs. You got gay gang members. You got gay gangs. You can't tell what a motherfucker doing unless somebody tell them. And a lot of these motherfuckers living double lives out here, man. They living double lives. A lot of these motherfuckers out here living double lives, man. A lot of these motherfuckers out here fucking with women, but fucking with men too, man. It's a lot of motherfuckers that can't leave that booty alone because they been in the penitentiary getting that booty so long that they every once in a while, even when they're in the street, they go find them a man that go playing that duty. Because they gay. I'm telling you, man, I watched so many motherfuckers. I did 15 and a half years in the penitentiary. And I watched so many motherfuckers that came in the penitentiary with 5-year sentences, 10-year sentences, do 3-4 months, do 2-3 years, and them folk was fucking with men. They was fucking with punks. Fucking with men. And I don't got out in these streets and I don't bumped and seen a lot of them same niggas with a car full of bad bitches at concerts with a whole bunch of bad bitches, surrounding them with bad bitches. But I remember days when I was in the penitentiary, them same motherfuckers used to get the guards to pop the cells so they can go in there and fuck with the punks. I remember days in the penitentiary when the punk got more commissary from niggas in the pod because that punk been around in the pod sucking dick on credit. And them niggas bring the commissary to pay him on state draw. Sick motherfuckers. When you know, man. When you know that motherfuckers in the world are sick, then you know the truth about these motherfuckers in the world, man. When you see motherfuckers that call themselves headbusters and gangsters and thugs, go to the penitentiary and put that Kool-Aid on and suck dick and fuck in the penitentiary and then transform back into a man when them folks let them out, then you know the world is a fucked up place, man. I don't watch motherfuckers in the penitentiary get called honey bun and come out on the street and they call that motherfucker J-Rock, man. I seen some weird ass shit. I seen a motherfucker that be out here doing that shit, man. You know what I mean? And I had a motherfucker tell me one time in the penitentiary, look, I had a homeboy of mine that I grew up with. You know, he was serving a life sentence and I had a life sentence. And then one day I was sitting around after being in the penitentiary about 4 years. And, you know, I was sitting around one day in the pod and I seen that nigga walking around and I seen him going to punk cell. And when the nigga came out the punk cell, he seen me and he came down and he started talking to me. And he was like, cuz I know, you know, 'cause we from the same streets, the same neighborhoods, got some of the same family members, same friends. And he was like, cuz, man, what happened in the penitentiary, stay in the penitentiary? I said, man, if you didn't want me to know that you was fucking with punks, you shouldn't have did it in front of me, man. You shouldn't have did that in front of me because it ain't never no excuse for no motherfucker to be fucking with another man unless that's what you prefer. And I don't knock a motherfucker, but don't act like that you ain't that when you that, man. You feel me? And that's the whole situation about that penitentiary shit, because people in prison got the mentality that they don't think they doing nothing wrong because they think niggas in prison gonna keep what they would call a prison code and not tell about the shit that they seen in prison. They not gonna, you know what I mean, motherfucker, I tell a motherfucker quick, man, you better not act like you tough out here around me. Cause I tell a motherfucker you was sucking dick and fucking in the penitentiary quick. Can't no motherfucker ever say that shit about me, and I done 15 and a half years in the penitentiary. I went hard. I ain't never fucked with damn motherfucking man in the penitentiary. There's one thing about me, man. I was one of them type of motherfuckers that called one of my homeboys on the street and asked for $200-300. And then I tell them some gal for to come pull up, and then they be like, what the fuck? I was buying pussy in the penitentiary. If a bitch came in the penitentiary and she could be 200 pounds, she could be ugly, she could be whatever, but she was a female and I was trying to buy that pussy. It was a lot of times I got rolled up for buying pussy for inappropriate sexual conduct with a motherfucking staff member. You know what I mean? Because some of them females, I learned a lot of things in the penitentiary. Some of them females that came in the penitentiary, they were feeling lonely. And some of them motherfuckers came in the penitentiary to sell pussy. When I was locked up in the penitentiary in Northwest in Memphis, man, them Memphis hoes used to come up in that motherfucker and they sold pussy, man. Every female that worked in a penitentiary in West Tennessee, them bitches was selling pussy. Their job, when they came through that door, they wasn't looking for no nigga. They wasn't trying to bring no sack. They were coming in there and they would find a dope man in the penitentiary and tell him, man, you can get this pussy for $200. Because they knew one thing for sure, that nigga going, man, there was some bitches that came in the penitentiary with rubbers, man. With rubbers. Man, there was female guards that used to walk around and they charge you $100 for the rubber and $200 for the pussy. Nigga, I was quick to get on that motherfucking phone and tell that motherfucker, cash out that bitch that money. Cash out that bitch that money. I remember one day, one of my homeboys, I said this big old girl. She about 300 pounds, looked like goddamn it a Samoan, but she was a guard. I sent that bitch out with a Nashville and I told my homeboy, give her $300, man. Give her $300. And my homeboy, when I talked to him on the phone, he said, man, cuz I know you ain't fucking that bitch. I said, nigga, I'm serving a life sentence. Ain't you glad I'm calling you, telling you give me $300 to buy some pussy, than a nigga calling you talking about I'm fucking with a man? That nigga said, cuz, call me anytime you need some money. That nigga said, I had a homeboy before he got locked up and I got out. I could call that nigga once a week and he'd give me $200 for some pussy every week, man. I had a guard that I used to buy her pussy every fucking week. Every week. She was my little secret little lover. I'm talking about she worked third shift And she was so quiet that didn't know she didn't speak to no nigga. But when she popped that door one night and seen me and my homeboy and they counting that money, sucking them little sacks up to serve the pod, that bitch said, I want in. That bitch said, I don't want to bring no pack in. She said, but I got something that I know you want. And when that bitch dropped that motherfucking security pants and I seen that pussy, shit. Man, you talking about it. At that time, I had been locked up 8 straight years in the penitentiary. I've been locked up 8 straight years and this bitch don't want number $200. Nigga, I was cash apping, zelling. I didn't even know how to zell. I was zelling this bitch money and didn't even know how to do it. I was